Welcome to Sparking Success with Aaron Opalewski. Aaron brings you conversations that spark innovation, cultivate leadership skills, and pave the way for your business success. In each episode, we delve into the dynamic world of business and leadership, exploring strategies, insights, and success stories that fuel your professional journey. Well, hey, everybody. Welcome back to Sparking Success. My name is EJ, and I'm here with my dear friend, Aaron. Aaron, how you doing today?
Good, man. It's good to be back. We took a couple weeks off, and that was good. But it's fun to be back doing this.
I agree, and the podcast is doing great. 50 or so episodes in, and just so thankful for that. And this is our first recording of 2025, and as we start 2025, we just kind of want to unpack what the beginning of the year looks like, what it has entailed, what maybe we'll even get into what is ahead. But
Sure.
the blessing of 2025 so far is we've seen both adversity, which we are day-to-day conquering. I know we're going to talk more about that. And we've also seen some awesome wins. And I'm just thankful that through that, we get the aspect to be able to, dive right into that. So talk to me. How's 2025 kicking off for you? We've had big plans. Things are great. But tell me more.
Yeah, let's just go through the week, because there's nothing more compelling than real life.
Yeah.
At sometimes some things, like, you could fabricate a story, and it's like sometimes real life's crazier than what you would make up.
Right.
So we knew this coming into this week of 1/6, but it wasn't official, and we had not communicated it to everyone within the organization, because we wanted to make sure, or I wanted to make sure it was official. So, but we closed on the sale. So we owned the building that we were in.
Correct.
And I was one of the owners.
Yep.
I had 3 other partners in the building, and so we were all managing partners of that. Those 3 people are not involved with Spark companies at all. But we own the building together, and an opportunity came up probably less than 90 days ago.
Wow.
Where we had a potential buyer that presented a legitimate and good offer. And I have no experience working, with this person or their company before, but 2 of my partners have done multiple deals, with them. And in those deals, they've used the same property management company, the same realtor, and it was an all-cash offer. And so, all those things being said, the logistics of things moved quickly, within that timeline that I just gave you. And I think that's partly because that whole infrastructure and relationship had been there in the past, right? And they were not disrupting any of that. But the diligence went well. Everything went well with all just the nuances of that. And, this is my first experience, because this was my first building. But even from being involved in stuff, I'm like, man, that really, like, there was no real halt or back, it just kept moving.
Yeah, the progression was consistent. Yeah.
So as of Monday morning, I got the official word that we sold, the building, and so we allowed we did some sign-offs a couple weeks ago, but one of our managing partners kind of controlled the rest of the signing for that. So I got the official word on that, and then later in the day, the official word that the bank confirmed that our note was paid off. We wanted to make sure we got that done too.
Right.
And that was basically that. So that happened on the first day, and it's my first time
going through that process. Yeah.
And it's emotional, because full disclosure, if we were the only owner, and if I owned it solely, with what we're doing and building here, we're staying in the building, and I've heard nothing but great things about I never worked with this owner before, but because he's paying all cash and has access to a tremendous amount of funds, I think any of the things that we were working on within our reserves, to the elevators are a good example.
Right.
We have, if you've rode elevator number 3, it's a little bit of a roller coaster. And we do all the maintenance on that. And it's safe.
Well, they're just dated.
We were another year out on making that, and I'm just talking real here.
Yeah.
So we're another year out on making that improvement where we actually like completely redid the elevators because it's over $1 million investment.
Yeah.
And so we were building funds to do that within the normal, flow of operations. And that's been the plan since we took ownership of the building, but we were doing it over a period of time. I don't control this now, but I'm pretty sure he's going to come in and just anything that needs to be adjusted, he's going to say, let's do that now. And I even talked with one of the maintenance guys this morning. I said, how busy are you guys now? And he's like, oh, we're going to be pretty busy.
Yeah.
But so that's stuff like that's great for the building.
Yeah.
And we're going to be here at least another 7 years, if not longer. We're going to continue with our expansion plan here. And so I think it's probably a best case scenario, even though like it's emotional. And if I was the only owner, I would have probably said, let's keep the ownership, keep building what we're building here. But you got to be a good partner.
Mm-hmm.
And the deal made sense on paper. And then all the things I just said, like what's important, like, well, one, we're going to be a tenant, but are the tenants going to be taken care of? And, not only is that yes, but I think he could probably take care of us all even better just because he has the means to do that or faster, which
I think faster is probably the best word, right?
Well, but in and of it being faster, right, isn't that's also somewhat better?
Yeah.
And that's another, we talk about being a good steward of money and growing equity and being able to do all this, like, well, there's something like the better you do that, the better and faster you can serve others.
Right.
So there's that. So we announced that to the team Tuesday, explained how it doesn't really have any impact on the team, but we still wanted them to hear it from, I want them to hear it from me, not from someone else in the hallway.
Right.
That was good timing because an email came out to all the tenants in the building as we were doing that.
Oh, man.
And not everyone gets that email, but then they're just more likely to hear something from someone else.
Yeah.
So I think we handled that well. And so, what else do we have going on 1/6? Well, our whole operations team, that a bigger chunk of it still worked out of Spark Talent.
Right.
We've been working on this hard. It's been our plans, but we over the last 90 days and our offsites and everything, we worked really hard to put it all together, communicate with everybody, and make the transition where the remainder of ops and finance that sat out of Talent moved into Spark companies.
Correct.
And so, although a lot of the legwork of that was done over the last 90 days of 2024 or so, and even really before that, the vision was put in place. But it was, light switch on 1/6. So that was a big transition for us here. And, I was on with finance and ops because it switches around how we do some stuff. So we did kind of like a re-huddle, like, hey, did we get everything right? Go check it because now we're live.
Yeah.
And so as expected, and there's always going to be little bumps in the road, but the team did a great job on the actual execution of that. And so we had that going on.
That's great.
So those were two things that we kind of knew were coming up.
Yep.
And we did all the proper planning. Well, what about the things we didn't know?
Yeah, we weren't anticipating going into 25 with.
I think good, like what do we know for sure? Things are going to come up that are unexpected.
Right.
It's going to happen.
Yep.
It's part of it. So you got to plan
that,
yes, unexpected things are going to come up. So, let's see. I mean, one, it's a full week in general because, we had the ability, and I'm very grateful I got to spend a good week with the family, and I still did some work, but I was able to really step away from a lot of stuff. And thank you to you and to the other people that set that up. You had some time away. We just said we took about 2 weeks off from recording.
Right.
And so a chance for everyone to kind of recalibrate and get ready for 2025. Well, what happens on your calendar when that's the case? And I know you've had that too, because you've had multiple meetings with clients and stuff. Well, your meetings start to get stacked for this week, which is good. You want that. You probably want that over the opposite.
Right.
Well, so I've been set, so Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and now tonight I have dinners, set. So I do all my normal stuff during the day, and then I've finished out my day around like 10 or 11 o'clock every night because there's the dinner, the drive home, and I'm probably on the phone with someone.
Yeah.
And then, I always like to send messages out to the people that I'm with. Just, we have a good time. I want them to know that. Yeah. And it's like it's just something that I learned actually from Ed, my lad.
Yeah.
It's got to be genuine, but like, just a quick little message.
Yep.
Man, it was great to get together, whatever that is. Well, then there's the other stuff. Like last night, it was following up with a couple people on just some search stuff that we have going on.
Okay.
And just making sure I communicate with everyone.
Yeah.
So that's another 45 minutes once you're home. And then off to bed. Well, so we've had a full week of that. Knew that was coming, but it's just part of it. Well, we have a lot of people sick, including probably you. Yeah, both of us, different things where we're talking. So we're probably both 50% at best.
Yep.
Yet we're here, and so we weren't anticipating that. Like part of our executive team is out and been out, and one of them came in one day, and I'm like, you need to just go back home.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, our group really bust their butt. They do, and I appreciate that. But between getting other people sick or just not being able to, and I'm not setting a good example for that right now, but at least on that side of it,
we got a little room in between us.
We got enough room, and it's just like I'm not in as bad a shape,
right?
At least at the moment as it was. Allie was in really bad shape, so she seems to be on the uptick, But so we didn't, you don't plan for that. I mean, you do in the form of like people have sick days and all that kind of stuff. But you're hoping to get everyone kind of back together after people were out.
Yeah.
So there's other ways to do that, and we've made it through, but that was unexpected. We've had, both personally and just operationally, this is a little tough, but we had some internal turnover that we didn't expect, and a couple of those people have been with us for a little bit longer, and I want to, I'm grateful for what we were able to do together.
Yeah.
A little bit disappointed in how it's all panned out, and some of the nuances, going on within that. It's not really the place to get into that.
Right.
But some things that are disappointing, but overall, body of the work, I'm proud of, what we did together, and it's nothing substantial, but I think there's, 3 different situations, or 2, one, we've already kind of got the backfill set in place, but we have another 2 scenarios where we're trying to backfill roles that were, they were impactful to the organization. I mean, they contributed here in a great way for a long time. We weren't anticipating, coming into that break that we were going to be doing, some of that at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
But so goes life, and so goes business, and in the business we're in, that's why we talk to people about how important it is to always be recruiting and to be looking for the best people for your team, and understanding that some things go through cycles.
Yeah.
And like, we want people to be here forever, and I believe in what we've put together on being able to reach really kind of anyone's growth itch at any level. But that doesn't mean that there aren't going to be situations where things run its course and it's best for people to go, experience somewhere else, specifically if, it's their only job, or they've worked here for, a long time, and maybe the company's outgrown. We're not going to put someone in a role that we don't feel is a fit just because they've been here for a long time. I think, you just got to watch that stuff, as an organization. What can that mean sometimes? Maybe it is good for someone to move on, and if they're not going to have the same upward trajectory here, or how they would do that, they don't want to do that, or they're feeling like, hey, I can't do that anymore. Well, then that might make it not the right fit. Similar to, different, but similar to in athletics, right? Like, well, our athletic window, it is only so much, and then and so I like comparing to sports a lot, and like we're Lions fans, right? Like, hey, stuff comes up this year. They have more people on injured reserves than really anybody, and they went out, still got that 1 seed. We're
Right.
pre-playoffs
Let's
here
go.
when we record this. We got our bye this week, but like no one cares.
Yeah.
Next person up, and build the best team. And so, you know, we know that being in recruiting, and you know, we also know that from experience of like, hey, we have really good tenure here and promote from within, but you know, it's not like we're not susceptible to any turnover, you know, ourselves as well. So yes, so that was going on.
And I'll just you know, I'll say, you know, although some of those transitions are definitely hard, just like you said, I also, you know, as one of those people where, you know, came back in, got some of their stuff. I see the team. I see
everyone
they're giving them hugs and fist bumps and like,
exactly.
love you, man. Like there's that aspect of it too. And in a high performance culture, one of the things that has been really neat watching and being a part of this Spark team is like, we do care about each other, even though we're working really, really hard. And, you know, so those things are, I won't even call them setbacks. They're just transitions. Like, okay, here we go. This is the next thing. And, I don't know, for you, does that make it easier or harder at the beginning of the year?
With
transitions?
Oh, I mean, well, something like that, like, I mean, there's parts that are hard for me.
Yeah.
Like I can get behind. A couple of things that I was disappointed in don't really have to do with those transitions.
Right.
It's you know, a couple of things that came up in really more one of the situations.
Okay.
And I think we'll work through it. Like you know, because in all those cases, there's still a friendship and respect there, and you know, just we'll work through it.
Yeah.
But stuff like that is, you know, you get into my least favorite part of this, like, because I love what we do so much, and I believe in what we're doing, and I believe in the opportunities that we have here for everybody at whatever level that they want to be at. I don't control the other side of that, though, on choices that people make, or I'm not going to bend on the standards just because, you know, something, you know, if someone wants to, you know, do something and we don't think that's a good situation, and they want to do it outside of how, you know, we set it up within our systems and processes, well, then that just doesn't align. And you know, parts of that can be tough, right? Because, you know, we are not going to bend on that, and we're going to do the right thing for the clients and for the greater good of the company. But it can lead to situations like, you know, maybe we're just in where it's like you got some friends that move on, and you know, you acknowledge all the great stuff that's been done and body of work, and you know, it's just a tough part of the business. Like, you don't want to, just like in sports, like when someone gets traded, you know, or they are at the end of their career where they're productive, and you know, for coaches or organizations that really care, those are necessary but tough. You know, it's got to be tough parts of the job. I mean, I don't know if you've watched Hard Knocks before or not. I watched the Lions one and then some of the other ones, but you hear them talk about that, and it's like, in our world, like, that's the hard part of what we do for me is some of that, you know, where it's the right move, or the right transition, but that doesn't necessarily make it the easiest thing,
right,
you know, in the short term. So yeah, so you know, that's always a tough thing. At the same time, like, people ask me how I'm doing, I just kind of move on, because I mean, we've been doing this for you know, long enough now, and I'm so used to this. And you know, we have a core value: conquering adversity is the recipe to success. And I don't even know that I deem that adversity. It's more normal, you know, business operations for the most part. But you know, I know that there's opportunity in it too. There's opportunity for other people. If we're gonna, you know, if someone's feeling like they've kind of run the course of what they can do within a role, then it's probably best to make a trend. That's probably best for clients long term to move on. It's best for them, which makes it best for the organization. And you know, it just, it opens the door for opportunity for other people. So, and that's what I like to focus on within that. So, but that doesn't make it the best or funnest part of what we do. We also know, I mean, look how many people have worked here once, left, come back, and then elevated within the company and got more perspective on what we are building here. And so that's the other thing. I didn't have that acumen or experience, I guess, like as we started out, and I was younger, but as you know, we're now at this 11 years, and I've been doing this 17 years, and we've seen that happen. I mean, look, like Dom, right? Like how many times did we try and get him to join us, and it just seeing this happen over and over and over again, and it's like all in God's timing.
That's right.
Whatever's supposed to happen is going to happen, and let's just go about working off our value set, doing what's best for the customer, doing what's best for candidates, doing what we believe is going to be best for the team and the greater good of the company, and pushing it towards the mission. And we don't know, everything. He does. But just kind of putting faith in that. So, and we've just seen that many, many times over turn into great things. So
both of us, have the belief that God's either sovereign over all things, in control of all things, or he's not. And, and we believe that he is. And that doesn't always make it easy, right? Like as men of faith, but it does, it does put a different perspective on things. And certainly they're not things that you think about or necessarily plan for. I think, a key of Spark, just like you mentioned some of those things, we were planning on. We did spend a ton of diligence and in time in, and they, moved right through, and they're great. Others of those, not so much. Are we going to talk about the other thing?
Oh yeah. So we got all that going on, cool. And it's the normal.
Just like, here we go.
Normal of being back. So we were out in California at our home there till Saturday, and came back Saturday. And so Tuesday, as it's kind of in the middle of some of all the stuff that we're talking about so far, I got word that there was fires, out there again, and started to get a little plugged into that, and was getting an email from our management company that oversees our home out there. And, I know the area. And then when I saw the area where the fires are at, it's 7 minutes from our house. It's the area we spend the most time in outside of when we're in our house. Like it's one of our favorite spots. Beautiful place, beautiful outdoor mall. Just like a really good area.
I loved seeing the pictures of the kids even over that week.
Well, you start seeing videos of this is in the Pacific Palisades area, which it's a very nice area, and starting to see the fires take out like whole streets, like businesses that like we were in and spending money at last week, and like the Starbucks there gone, like I believe I got that right when you look at the geography of stuff, but it's pretty bad. And then so you're paying more attention, to it, and it's just I gotta give first huge kudos, because there was fires about 2 weeks before we were out there, 3 weeks before. These firefighters are amazing. What they do. The fires were more 10 minutes the other side of our place by Pepperdine University, and I mean, if you live out there, you're probably just used to it. But I'm like, haven't seen that as much.
Typical.
And I'm not kidding you, Jay. Like what I learned is they are trained and taught, and what they do is protect the infrastructure and the facilities. They'll let it like controlled burn, and they put it out. They protect the infrastructure. Like that's the goal. So you would see like all the brush or like in between the structures, it would be burned up in some spots, and then the structures were completely good. There'd be like 5 feet of like, it's like all like everything ashed out,
and then you see the
completely charred, and then 5 feet in between, and then there's just like perfect structure still in place. And like I've told a couple of people, like, took my girls to this park where it's like kind of right in the middle of one of the areas that had got hit pretty bad. And the park had that like blue rubber matting that they run around on.
Yeah.
Beautiful park. Park's completely good. There's like a fence, like the fence would be here, like on my armchair.
Okay.
And so this side is the park. Everything's perfect. Fence, and then like shrubs and stuff, like completely charred. So they're like within like a foot of each other. They're able to, and I'm just like, man, so impressed by how they're able to do that, and like the acumen that must go into that, and hard work, and
thankful for them, as
yeah,
you say.
like so. If anything, I guess you see stuff on the news, and it's like the news will over accentuate stuff and all that, and I guess I left feeling a little over confidence. So then all that starts happening about 7-10 minutes on the other side, and I'm seeing the Sunset Boulevard that we drive up. People are leaving their cars, evacuating them, running off the and just leaving their cars there. And I'm like, holy crap. So we're watching it, and it progresses, and then you hear, well, as talented as those firefighters are, if they plug into the hydrant and no water comes out of the hydrant, what do you do?
Yeah. I couldn't even fathom that when I heard it now.
Yeah. So this was like, I think later Tuesday night.
Okay.
And so on Wednesday, this was progressing. I think some of the stuff I just mentioned, that's when that was kind of coming out. And so Wednesday night, I was at this dinner, and I got not complete, but pretty strong confirmation that our house was probably gone. So I didn't leave the dinner or anything like that. We kept going, and amazing meeting, right? So I got home, actually went to bed. I probably looked at a few things, but I went to bed. I woke up at like 2 a.m, couldn't sleep, hopped back onto X, which is not a good idea if you can't sleep, and against any of the sleep podcasts that you listen to, but that's what I did. And I had heard that the restaurant by us had burned down. I had got like word of that. And so I went on, because I still didn't have confirmation, but I'm like, well, that's not
That's
good.
close, yeah.
So I searched that, right? And was called Moon Shadows. It's a famous place, been around since I think the 1930s or something like that. I guess the Beach Boys used, like, I don't know, there's a whole history behind it. But so I'm searching videos, and I see that Moon Shadows is gone, and I find one where the guy's out on the road right there, and our home is probably about 100 yards from there, maybe less, but about 100 yards. And so they show where Moon Shadows was, and they were talking about it, and then the guy, he's like
pans a little bit,
like facing the water, so like where it was, and so he pans over to his left. And he's like, and you see that this set of homes is completely gone, and that's our home is within that set of homes, and it's like, okay, wow, well, it's gone. So, that was, we've had a lot of good memories there, and on one hand, it's sad, it's disappointing. You put everything in perspective, though, and just a couple things that I'm feeling on it now. Like, one, we have some stuff there, and that was like, we talked to the girls about it, and that was kind of like sad, like hearing them talk about some of that. But you think about that, we don't have like all our stuff there.
Yeah.
And so for any families that are affected by this, that's
their permanent
residence. Well, they've lost all their stuff, all their memories. Maybe they're like, so grateful that that's not the case. Then you just get into the fact, like, hey, like, look, like, there's a lot worse things in the world. We're talking about, like, your second home burned down. It's like, hey, look, like, one, you have a home.
Right.
Two, it's a second home. Like, guess what? Like, a lot of people have things a lot worse. And so, while it's unfortunate, like, I'm much more concerned and trying to pray for, people that are there. And then all those, I mean, the first responder,
right.
I mean, I can't even imagine trying to do what you do. I've never experienced it, but got to be intense and potentially stressful enough, because every situation is different.
Yeah.
But but then you don't have the tools or infrastructure to do what you need to do. And just like it's got to be it is got to be a helpless feeling.
Yeah.
It's more dangerous. Just feel
and most of those,
awful.
And most of those guys and gals too, I would only assume in those moments are going, oh, I'll try this. Oh, I'll try and do this. But
I have no clue, but that's gotta be pretty frustrating.
Yeah.
Then so all things together, like there's a part of like it's tough, but there's a lot of like gratitude that I just have around the whole thing, and I'm really trying to focus more on people that are more impacted on by it than us. Like you hear about I don't know, I don't want to speak wrong or moral come out on this, but so I'm up, then I'm on X. I keep so I didn't go back to sleep that night.
Yeah.
So for 2 hours, which I don't recommend doing, but for 2 hours I'm scrolling stuff.
Yeah.
So EJ, the failure of leadership, the weak leadership, there's that, sure. Like, they don't take care of the brush. There's a $2.7 billion grant that went through or whatever in 2014 with everyone's tax money from out there, the most expensive taxes in the country. And the project 11 years later hasn't even started.
Right.
Because of all the red tape and corruption and whatever else. It just hasn't, the weekly, like it hasn't even started. And that's why they don't have water. Then you get into, and this isn't even political, but Trump's on, and I watched this because this is an area that we have a home in. So I watched this 3 months ago when Trump was on
Joe Rogan.
Yeah. And he walks through this on how they could have water, that flowed through
they would have diverted it.
But because of the I'm gonna misspeak, whatever, kelp or whatever fish it was,
smelt.
Yeah. There you go. The smelt fish, they deem it not acceptable environmentally, or well, I can't imagine what has transpired is better for the environment than if they would have made
if they would have diverted that from
so I could go, we can stop, but like down to the child trafficking and what's going on with the Diddy stuff and whatever. I saw things about underground tunnels. I saw UFOs on screens. I'm like, I don't know if this is AI or real. Like there's stuff about the Getty Museum that was there and is now, I guess it sounds like gone, and what's underground there, and you could go on and on and on. And the reality is, I don't know what's factual and what's not, and I don't even know if there's a way to completely unravel that. God knows.
That's right.
And but definitely down a rabbit hole on that. But it definitely, just it doesn't feel right. Like that everything that's been gone, and that here we are recording this is still going on to my knowledge. I looked at stuff this morning. I heard about now Calabasas, and they're potentially have caught people that are actually setting the fires. And again, I don't know.
That's true.
Yes, but and that's just the reality of the world we live in between technology and social. So I don't know either, but I know that it's a mess of a situation, and if any good can come of it, maybe the area can appoint some more capable leaders long term, and that could be a positive that comes out of it for the long term. So
what for you, Aaron, does that change, or what is the mindset as the year starts off again, positive and negative?
And again, I'm not making light of anyone. I want to just make that clear. I don't want this to come off the wrong way. But I'm kind of a psycho, dude. So here I am. So that I was pretty sick, yesterday morning, and we're kind of getting that news. And I guess it was Wednesday morning or Thursday morning when I was looking at that. If I'm thinking Wednesday night, but it was Thursday morning, I guess. But it probably made more sense for me to work from home yesterday. Like, and I would have still worked and all that stuff, but probably would have had a couple less conversations, been more ready for my dinner at night, like just like put more of my like talking energy towards that.
Right.
But I'm looking at Anna and I'm like, man, like there's a lot that isn't great about this, but what is great about this? Well, I got an opportunity here. I'm going to take it.
Yep.
My opportunity is not even just today. It's just to go in and to go like, yes, we got this stuff going on. Can't figure all, I'm not there. I'm not in full control over it. Like I have to just kind of let some of this stuff go. Like I'm not going to obsess over it.
Right.
I'm going to stay informed, but not obsessed. I think we've talked about that before. And man, I'm going to work.
Right.
And I'm going to go get my stuff done.
Yep.
And I'm going to, we talked about on past episodes about doing things when you don't feel like doing them. Like I'm not at 100%, but I can get my stuff done. And I could do that all from home and it would essentially be the same, but I won't have as good of a story to tell as if I'm in the next day and people know that's happening and they physically see me there. And so I'm going.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a bad call. Try not to get anyone else sick.
I don't know that that's psycho. You're like, I'm psycho about it. I just think that's the style of leader that you are.
Well, I just know that I'm going to be in the room with someone and they're going to have a serious event or a tough event. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to respond that way.
The reality is they're all going to be different. And I need to be able to look at them by my example, not just my words, and tell them, look, man, like there's, or look, I wouldn't say woman, but look, here's my take on this.
Yep.
Like you gotta address whatever you're dealing with, or you don't avoid reality. You control what you can control. You go about what you need to do on that. But a lot of times, there's always exceptions to this and contacts and things that just got to be taken care of. And work can still be there. But a lot of times it's not the case. A lot of times, like, hey, you got all this adverse event or something going on that you didn't expect it, or something's chaotic over here. Well, if you let that be the excuse to why you don't get your stuff done, it's actually going to hurt you even more.
Yeah.
And I think that is, at some level, what gets in a lot of people's way is that life is tough and things come up, and that will not, it's always going to happen, even when they're good things, but like things are going to come up. Well, how do you get off track? How do you lose momentum? How do you not achieve what you're capable of achieving? Let that be the excuse that you give yourself to not still go out and get your stuff done. And I can just lean on stories like that because they're true in the future. When someone has, I don't know what it's going to be. Maybe it would be different, right? But it's applying the same principles. Like percentage would say someone's going to get divorced. Someone's going to have, a tragedy in their family. Someone's going to have
miscarriage
health concerns. Like things in life are going to happen. And again, like coming at that from a standpoint of like being empathetic towards it, and acknowledging that whatever they need to take care of within those moments that they do that. But in a lot of those cases, well, don't also derail all your momentum professionally or within what you're doing here, because that's probably going to stack and compound your issues.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you you're going to love it, in every one of these moments, but getting that done and like figuring out how to work through that, I can tell you that years down the road, you'll be proud of the way you operated during that time. I can tell you that for sure. You can't do that. Like, even if I've done that thousands of times in my life so far, it's not as impactful of a message unless I'm still doing it every day today. So it's just another opportunity to, like, that's one of the things that's going to be good about it.
Yeah.
Hopefully, what'll be a really good story is if when I was pretty sure that our home had burned down, we're out on a big meeting, if that turns into I'm excited about that potential partnership. And I really believe that we can do great things for that company and with that company. And I have to believe that that's a future great story
Mm-hmm.
that we're going to be able to tell.
Yeah.
And tell it in a way that's like, man, like, what if you give up on your work that day and you miss your opportunity for your next big, breakthrough client or
Right.
situation?
Yeah. There's there's perseverance there, and that perseverance, I believe, has a purpose, and also, will have a great outcome.
Yeah.
And, I believe that.
Yeah. So, and then, yesterday, so to wrap this up, yesterday I got the majority of the check for selling the building.
Okay.
So that was a first. So I'm literally on one hand, like, in early morning, confirming that my home burns down.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm getting this check later on the
Yeah.
day. I'm like, well, again,
It's a wild dichotomy.
a lot
Yeah.
to be grateful for.
Yeah.
And, then we have decided, because we made this investment for, this is an investment in our companies and our mission
Mm-hmm.
and what we're doing. And, we've talked about this on other, I think, finance related episodes, but our company, Spark Talent, operates with no debt.
Right.
And then we facilitate, like, we basically provide the line of credits, or, I do for the other, organizations.
Right.
And with the sale of the building and the growth of the companies, we're going to kind of double down on that and set up an even more organized path. So, so we got that check. I'm now in the process of working with some of my, financial people to set that up at the next phase of that for the companies, and that's going to continue to provide more capital, help us, all keep growing and provide the tools and people, and make sure that we're just structurally ready for that continued growth. So all that has happened, within the week. And I still got another dinner tonight that I'm looking forward to. So, and what else? Oh, it's tax week, so we got a accountant meeting and a big meeting for our executive search firm at 3:00. So it's been a full week.
Yeah.
Grateful to be alive and
That's right.
the ability to do it, and that family's safe, and pray for everyone's family, out in California in general, but that's going through that right now. And it's been an eventful week.
Yeah, it has. Well, I think, ending on the aspect of, certainly, if you're the praying type, know that we're praying for all those who are affected. If you're a person that sends good vibes or any of those things, whatever, your purview is, for all the people affected there, the entirety of our team is thinking about you. And, I think, Aaron, the adversity, although at times, I even heard you say, like, I don't know that that's adversity. Like, I, from my perspective, I'm like, wow, what a week. But I also have had the opportunity to watch you lead in different scenarios like that, and know that your heart, your passion, your drive, and your belief will carry you through those things. And I'm thankful for that. And I think this is why people need to be tuning into episodes like this, so they can see that perspective. And, we consistently talk on this podcast. This is not theory. This is real life. And I'm thankful today that you shared some of that with us. And I know people glean from that.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I think I'll leave people with, the other, I like to think I already understand this, but it was a great, tangible, real life reminder, especially just being there. And, again, what you get to keep in life. Well, I don't know what the next life is like, right? But I guess we'll all learn on that at another time. But you don't take the stuff with you.
Yeah.
And literally, like, if this home that we're just in on Saturday morning it's completely gone. Well, we had a lot of great memories there. Things can be rebuilt.
Yep.
Life goes on, but stuff is stuff. And people and relationships, and your character, how you operate, how you impact others, maybe even after you're going to be gone, that matters. It's good to be, we talk about being a good steward of money, and I have no problem with people having nice stuff And, I like, nice things.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, it's a lot, stuff like that is a good reminder. And then even like, seeing that payoff for other people, that's more important.
Yeah.
So, and I think at the same time, what helps stay in that perspective or get to that perspective is putting yourself in a position where you do have some stuff and you can operate and live life and enjoy it somewhat and have some comfort. I think so. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I think it's easier to get in that frame of mind when your needs are taken care of. So it's like, take care of yourself, enjoy life, but don't make these things your idol.
Yeah.
And so I'd like to think that I've done a pretty good job of that. But this puts it in perspective real quick when you were there on Saturday enjoying it, and now it's gone.
Right.
And guess what? That's at the end of the day, that's how it's going to be all together. So there's probably some type of blessing in that, on just like really framing that into perspective. So,
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that was dumb to share, but
no, I think it's great. Obviously we want people to, stay connected. I think for today in this episode, a great way to just end it is we're appreciative of all of you guys, and thanks for listening today.
Happy New Year.
Success. Yeah. Happy New Year.